Welcome. This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers news, guys. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please, obviously, smash that sub. Help the channel to keep on growing, keep on building, keep on going ever upwards, just like Rangers. In the last couple of games, building, putting it together, becoming bigger, becoming better. So many parallels. Who'd have thought it? The Philippe Clement of podcasting. Whatever. Stop being deluded, Owen. Anyway, we're going to talk obviously it's Saturday. It's match day, but it's not match day for Rangers. No Rangers game today. We kick off at 12 o'clock tomorrow, Sunday. That game obviously will be brought to you here live on the channel. So please obviously come and join us for that. Games today. What is taking place today? That's what you all want to know, isn't it? Four games in total today. Motherwell, St Mirren, Dundee, Aberdeen. That's tomorrow, actually, isn't it? Apologies. Oh, yes, that is today. Duh. It's because I'm looking at this Friday night. I'll start that again. Games today on Saturday. Motherwell, St Mirren, Dundee, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, Hearts, Ross County, and the evening kickoff is St Johnstone, managerless St Johnstone at home to Celtic. I mean, going through those 5 games that take place tomorrow, obviously our game is Sunday, 12 o'clock kickoff. We're looking at that. I would say you've got to fancy, I think, St Mirren to get something at Motherwell. Aberdeen will probably, I can see Aberdeen going 6 for 6 tomorrow. I really can against a very average Dundee team. Kilmarnock, Dundee United, I've got that one down as a draw at Kelly. Hearts, Ross County, I'm going to put Hearts down for a first win. Given how bad they've been this season, and St Johnstone Celtic, look, as much as we might want it to happen, as much as we might not beg, but kind of hope against hope and pray for it to happen, it isn't going to happen realistically. I know it's away at St Johnstone, but Celtic are still going to win. St Johnstone are just generally dreadful, so that's going to be 3 points for them. Make them 6 for 6, making it even more imperative, obviously, that we get the win on Sunday against a very average Hibernian team this season. Hibs team that sit 9th in the table, having played 5, won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. Very poor. But obviously, look ahead in a bit more detail to that fixture tomorrow on the Matchday News video. So please look out for that. But what we're going to talk about today, what do we talk about today? We're going to talk about 2 players in particular in the Rangers team. We talk about Václav Černý, who's been identified as kind of like an exciting player this season and someone to kind of be a bit of a game changer, nicknamed at one point the Czech Robin. We'll talk a little bit about him and what he's got to do and how he's got to improve a little bit, I think. We're also going to talk now a bit about a player that, I don't know, again, you know what? One of the things that I've kind of come to figure out a little bit over kind of this season is there's a lot of players within this Rangers team that kind of divide the fan base, isn't there? You know, they kind of, there's half the fans that think they're great and half the fans that think they're shit. And I think that's just the way it is, isn't it? You know, you've got your Tab lovers and your Tab haters. You've got your Dessers lovers and your Dessers haters. And in that same way, you've kind of got with Mohamed Diamande, those that think that he's a good player, a top player, and those that think he's shit. You know, there's definitely seems to be that kind of divide in the fan base over him. And I think the criticism of Diamande is, to some extent, and this is going to be controversial, I know it's going to get me absolutely pelted. But you know what? You've got to stick to your guns. You keep believing something, you have an opinion on something, and you know you've got to kind of stick to it, haven't you? And you've got to kind of develop a thick skin and develop a kind of I don't know, what was it Mark Goldbridge said on that book? I've read Mark Goldbridge's book, finished reading his book today. Get in, fantastic read, guys. You know, you can't win every argument, can you? You just cannot win every argument. It's just not worth it at the end of the day. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I think if you're saying that Dio's shit and he's an overrated player and he's a poor player, I don't think you genuinely understand the game. I really don't think you understand, you know, what he brings to the team. Now, look, he's not a player who's going to pick the ball up, dribble around 5 or 6 players and smash it in the top corner. That's not the type of player that he is. He's an 8. He's a box-to-box. He's a creative player. He keeps Rangers ticking over. He moves the ball exceptionally well. You know, when he gets the ball, I think games where he's been less effective is where he's been dragged deep. He's much more effective when he's receiving the ball higher up the pitch to go and influence the game and feed it to the 10, feed it to the wingers further up the field to influence the game. He's very clever at buying himself some time as well. You watch a lot. He receives the ball, he'll turn, spin, move to gain himself a bit of extra time on the ball. I mean, these were stats that I shared with you the other day from the Malmo game, which were absolutely excellent. 90 minutes he played, the full 90. He was obviously rested. I think that was the kind of thing that happened the other day. But 2 chances created, 94% pass completion rate, 100% dribbling completion rate, 100% on crossing. He won 3 out of 4 of his tackles. He won 6 out of 9 of his ground duels, and he won his only air duel that he went in for as well. I mean, those stats are very, very good indeed. And I've got to say, I kind of read with a bit of incredulity that comment that was made on the video yesterday. I thought Dio was shit. Well, I was just wondering what game you were actually watching, because Diomande was far from shit against Malmo. He was quality. He was absolutely quality. The way he used the ball, the way he influenced the game, the way he created space for himself, the way he dribbled with the ball. And there's times as well when you see Dio and he's doing pretty much what this picture indicates here. He's pointing, where he wants someone to run, where he wants someone to move. And if you notice as well, there's a lot of time as well when he releases the ball, his next move is to point, to shout, to yell where the ball needs to go next, where the movement needs to be, who needs to move where, how they need to move the ball. And he's got that kind of leadership, which in one so young is pretty incredible. Look, I'm not saying that he's a finished article. I'm not saying that he's world class. I'm not saying that he's top class, but he is a good player. I think, we've got to remember that this is a young lad. He's still got room to develop. He has played over 100 professional games, obviously, so he brings that experience. But, it was at Norgesland, which, no disrespect to Norgesland, that is not a major league. So, I think genuinely with Diomande, there's a little bit of a misunderstanding of what he does. I mean, his partnership with Barron is excellent, and this other false narrative that surrounds him, this narrative that he is, too slight and gets knocked off the ball easily, I think is absolutely false. He has a toughness to him. He has a physicality to him. And I don't think that criticism about him, being easily knocked off the ball is at all fair. Here's some stats, some Diomande stats from this year. This is all about, dribbling, passing, chance creation stats. So in terms of assists, he's had 1 assist this year. He's in the 87th percentile. So towards the top percentile for that. Expected assists, 1.09 per game, puts him in the 88th percentile. Again, moving towards the top. Passes, 176 passes this season. 45.52 passes per game. Quite how you have half a pass, I don't know. But that puts him at 81st percentile, again in the high 80s, in the 80s again. Successful passes, 147 out of 176, 85th percentile. Pass completion percentage is 83%. Which is a pretty good pass completion percentage, especially when you rate that most good teams it's around 83, 84, 85%. In the 87th percentile, key passes, 5 key passes so far this season, 76th percentile. Crosses, that's an area that he does need to work on. He's in the 52nd percentile for that. Successful crosses though, but when he does put in a cross, 80th percentile. Cross completion rate is 75%, which is only puts him in the 97th percentile. So, it's all green there. Yes, there is still room for development there. Yes, there is still areas for development. But I think, like I said, I think we've got to remember that Diomande is a young player. He's still a player who is getting better, still a player who is developing. But, you look at how he uses the ball, how he links the play, how he brings others into the game. And in his whole midfield general kind of, role that he plays on the Rangers team. I do think that some of the criticism he gets is very, very unfair. And I genuinely feel with Mohamed Diomande, this is a player who will go on to have, a pretty glittering career. And whether that's at Rangers or whether that's somewhere else, I mean, I think there's a lot of hope around the club that he will be one of the key parts of our transfer model. That, that once this transfer model is up and running, give Diomande, 18 months to 2 years, and the guy's going to be worth a shed load of cash. Now, allegedly, there was already interest in him, in the summer after we signed him. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. That's already there. But I'll be honest with you, I like Diomande. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very talented player. I think he uses the ball very well. I think he buys time for himself well. And I think, sometimes people look at midfielders and they look at the kind of, the past midfielders that we've had, the Gazzas, the Loudups, the creative midfielders who could go past 5, 6, 7, 8 players and just leave everyone for dead and smash it in the top corner. That's not Dio's game. That's not the type of game that he plays. So for me, Mohamed Diomande is a top player. I think the criticism he gets from some of our fan base is very unfair and very unwarranted. Right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Right, let's move it along a little bit. Let's talk about the Dutch, not the Dutch Robin, the Czech Robin, Mr. Václav Černý. Now, again, a player that seems to be dividing opinion. There's those that say that he's a very exciting player, that he's a player that gets bums off seats, that he's a player that runs at people, is direct, has some nice touches. Obviously, he's got a goal this season. But there's others that have kind of branded him a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a weak link out there. Someone who loses the ball far too easily. Someone who, you know, is a bit of a one-trick pony. You know, the fact that when he gets the ball, he constantly wants to come inside onto his left foot all the time. So there is that kind of that's been leveled at him. Now, looking at his match stats from the Malmo game, he did not have the best of games against Malmo. Yes, he played okay. I'm not saying he played terrible. I mean, to be honest with you, the whole team played very well indeed. So I think, single out one person for criticism is slightly unfair. So these were Černy's stats, courtesy of SofaScore, against Malmo. So no goals, no assists, one big chance missed, which was obviously the one where he was put clean through on goal. Doesn't even work. The keeper puts the ball wide. Really does need to be scoring there. One successful dribble. I mean, for a winger, over 90 minutes, that's not great, is it? That only one successful dribble, 4 total shots. And this is the concerning statistic for him. He's lost the ball 13 times in one game, giving it away 13 times. So that's not an particularly impressive set of stats. Now, yes, on the eye test, defensively, he did work well in the second half, tracked back well, really reinforced that right-hand side in front of a right back who's not the best at defending. So he does deserve some credit for that. But this is a player who's on loan. This is a player who doesn't belong to Rangers. This is a player with really, he's got something to prove, that he's got to show his parent club, and prospective buyers around Europe, including ourselves, that he's worth whatever money it is that they want for him. If it was that, this was to end today, the loan spell was to end today, and that they were to demand 5 million for him, which is his market value, I'd say no, absolutely not worth it. I wouldn't pay it at this moment in time. So, it's something that he's really got to pick up on. And for me, he's got to develop more than one trick. He's got to show that he can go outside as well as inside and keep fullbacks guessing, because at the moment he's becoming all too predictable. And when you're a fullback defending against a winger, you like predictability. You like the fact that you always know what that winger's going to do. He's always going to come in on his left foot. He's always going to move inside. So you just track the runner. So, this is something that we and he needs to work on. Having that different way of attacking, that different trick. Try and use your right foot. Get outside, use your right foot. Or at least, get outside, work some space, then come back onto your left foot. So I'll be honest with you. He's a player that does have, a bit to prove yet, if he's going to prove worth signing in the summer. Like I said, that Malmo game, not particularly impressive stats. He has got goals this season. He has got assists this season. But, overall, he's kind of flattered to deceive at times. And yes, there has been those exciting moments, those very talented moments by Václav Černý. But by that same token, there was times as well when he really has put Rangers, in trouble. I mean, in terms of his appearances this season, 1 in the Europa League, 2 in the Scottish Cup, 4 in the Scottish Premiership, including 1 goal and 1 assist. 2 appearances in the Champions League with 1 assist as well. So there's a bit of background there as well of assists and goals. So, he's definitely got that in his locker, and hopefully that's something that we can continue. But certainly something that he does need to work on, Václav Černý, to really improve. I think it is to become less of that one-trick pony, that he always wants to come inside. And that's down to Philippe Clement to engineer situations for him to work on that, to get the fullback moving forward, overlapping, to help him, to kind of create some space there. I think, that they are the kind of things that we need to be looking for. So there we go. Right, guys, let me know what you think of Václav Černý. Is he a player you want to keep? Is he a player you don't want to keep? Is he a player you're still undecided about? Let me know in the comments. Well, guys, it's been great speaking to you as always. Just a couple of stories to cover this morning. Obviously, we'll do a big proper preview of the game tomorrow morning before the game at 12. Thank you for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. In defence of Dio, analysis of Černý. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Please drop me a sub, drop me a comment, drop me a like. All those things help the channel, the video, and me. Thanks for watching. We are the people.